Next thing that we have to do is to use Flyway to make sure that it applies the migrations that we currently have. So if you navigate to the documentation for Flyway under CLI and API, and then usage, and then API, you should see that they have this guide in here on how to install Flyway. So we have all of this already. And if you scroll down, you see that there's a programmatic configuration. So it's so easy to use. So you just say Flyway, basically the object here. You configure the data source with the URL, username and password. You load it, and then you perform the migration. So let's take these two lines in here and go back to our test. And let's have one test in here. So test method, and I'm going to name this as can migrate with Flyway, or can and then apply, and then can apply DB migrations with Flyway. So let's just remove given and whatnot. Let's just paste this code and let's import Flyway. So import the class, and here we have URL, username and password. So the way we're going to get these is from our test container. And equally we could pass, I think if I remove all of this, I think we can pass the data source. So command P. So we can either pass a data source or the URL, username and password. So for now, let's just pass username and password. So command P. So we have the URL. So this comes from PostgreSQL container dot, and then get JDBC URL, comma, Postgres container dot get username, and finally the password, Postgres container QL dot, and then get password. Cool. So we have Flyway, and then we apply the migration. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print in here south, and I'm going to add a breakpoint. So let's actually go again inside our database and see whether the migration has been applied. So let's basically remove the breakpoint for this test, and let's right click and then debug, and hopefully we should stop here. If everything goes well, there we go. It's right here, which means that this test will pass. But let's make sure that we have the tables. So in here, if I open up project, and let me just hide this, and within resources, we have DB migration, we have the customer table, and also we added the unique constraint on a separate migration. So let's just check that indeed we have this in place. So if I open up my terminal, and let's check the container name again, because it gets a new one. So here, now it's called this vigorous diffie. So before it was called relaxed miter. So let's just paste that. There we go. We are inside. Let me zoom in. Now let's say PSQL-U, and then amigos code -D for database, and the database name was amigos code -DAO -unit and then test. Enter. We are inside. Let's basically say \L. We have this database. Let's just connect to it. \C. Enter. We are connected. Now \DT, and check this out. So we currently have two tables. So we have customer and Flyway schema history. So this is beautiful. If I say \D, we should also have the sequence in here, customer ID sequence. And let's say select. So select star from Flyway schema history. and actually the output is rubbish. So let's just say \x and then press enter, and you can see the output in here. So we have the scripts that were applied with the checksum, and this is working. If I say select star, so select star from and then customer, enter, we have 0 rows, which means that we have everything in place in order to start writing unit tests against our DAOs. So if I resume the test, go to debug, resume, you can see that the test passed. Go back to my terminal, and you can see that the container is gone. If you have any questions on this, drop me a message. Otherwise, catch me on the next one.